But then they're like, no, in the Zulu culture, you also give gift to the husband side of the family. So that was the big difference for me. But beside that, it was all the same, involving families, party, food, celebration, traditional clothing, traditional food is the same. The other thing I want to bring to mind to someone who's currently dating or considering dating someone from another nationality is white wedding aspect. And by white wedding, I mean the immigration part of it. Because when we are there in love, we just feel, oh, I love this guy or I love this girl. We're gonna get married and everything is going to be beautiful and happy ever after. But we don't think about the immigration. At least me, I did not, honestly. I did not think about immigration. What does it mean? Because I came to South Africa as a student. I had a scholarship from my country to come and study in South Africa. And I was basically ending my studying because when I met my husband, I was doing I was in between my second and third year. So I knew that, okay, the next year I'm going to finish. So it's either I go back to Gabon or I go and study further elsewhere or even still in South Africa. But while I was busy starting dating my husband, like the thought never even crossed my mind to say that, okay, then when we get married, what does it implique or what does it mean legally to marry this person here in South Africa, And also because, Gabon was colonized by French. We have a lot of French people there, or we have a lot of wedding where if maybe someone from Gabon marries someone from outside, and especially outside of the continent, it would be a French guy or a French lady. And even there, the difference is completely different. That's why I say that depending on whoever you are dating or whoever you will be dating when the question comes, you need to familiarize yourself or find out the immigration law about that country. You see, like me, I was dating a South African guy and we were planning on getting married and we did get married. So it was my duty or our duty to find out what is the immigration law in South Africa, or even what is the migration law in Gabon. Like, because now it's two different countries coming together to get married. If you're dating someone from Zimbabwe, how is the immigration law there? If you're dating someone from France, how's the immigration law in France? If you're dating someone from Canada, how's the immigration law there? If you're dating someone from Gabon, how's the immigration law there? Don't just be in your bubble there like, oh, I'm in love, we're going to get married, Talk about those things, before. I know I know a Gabonese lady who also came here to study. And then I was already married then. I even had my first child. So she used to say to me, she's praying that God, no, don't bring, okay, we're all in the church. Then she used to say to me, I pray that God doesn't bring any South African men to me. I don't want to marry a South African because I will be forced to stay here. And then the way I saw you suffering to get your South African ID, I don't want to suffer also like that. It's like, it's a certain knowledge that she had because of my story that made her kind of scared, to fall in love with South African men, because she felt like, no, if I fall in love with South African men and then I marry him and I stay here, I'm also going to struggle to get my ID. And then without an ID, I can't get a job and all that. So that was her mind. So I'm just saying all this to say, do consider those things, do your research so that at least you are even prepared. Me, until I was in that position, I didn't even know what an immigration lawyer was. I thought I have to fight with all my affairs on my own. But there are people who actually know the law who can help you. You go to an immigration lawyer, make your life even more easier. It took me time to find those things. So do your research, find out. For instance, when you are getting married to a South African, free advice. Guys, you need to go and do interviews. You don't just go and book to say, okay, we're gonna get married, da da da. No. You have to go to Home Affairs and then you book an interview first. You don't go and book to sign, no. You go and book to get interviewed. They interview you to find out this love story, this wedding you want to do. Is it paper only? Is it fake? Or you really love each other, you see. So lucky for us, my husband and I, when we had our interview, we already did the traditional wedding, because we had the traditional wedding in June, July, and then we went to Oma First to sign around August. And then we had the white wedding celebration church type in December. You see. So you have to know it. They're going to interview you. And then they don't interview you only like together. They interview you, the lady first separately, and then they interview the guy also separately, and then they bring you guys together. So the Home Affairs really does scrutining, asking you question, how long have you been together, what is his grandmother's name, where is he from, question to really find out if you really you are into it just for papers or for other reasons, or it's really love. You see, and then once you pass the interview, then now you are allowed to go and book a day to sign. You see, so you don't just go and sign. And even when you marry a foreigner as a South African, although some churches, for instance, they have the license to marry you, but they cannot marry you if one of you is a foreigner. Why? Because you need to go do the interview first. And another thing, even after the interview, while now you've passed the interview and then they allow you to go and book a date to sign at Home Affairs, you need to prove one of the requirements while you are busy doing your file before signing. They ask you to bring a proof from your country that you are not married. You see, so I had to go to the Gabonese embassy here in South Africa and then get a letter from my embassy for them to justify, to say that no, this lady, she's not married in Gabon. Here are the papers at the Gabonese embassy, or as the embassy of Gabon in South Africa. We attest that Jamie so and so is not married in Gabon. Then you take that document back to Home Affairs and then they add it to your file. So you don't just go and book and say we want to sign. No. If one of you is a foreigner, you need to do your due diligence. So you need to go do the interview, bring documentation that prove that you are not married in your country. And then only after that, then you can now go and book the date and sign, you see. So those are things you need to know. And also another thing you need to know, if you are a foreigner marrying a South African, you need to know that you have to wait 5 years after after you married. So after you marry, you have to wait 5 years until you can qualify to apply for your South African ID.